Hey guys, and welcome to my first browser-based MMorpg tutorial. I was making some tutorials about a month ago, but they didn't turn out as good as I wanted them to be, so I just wanted to start over on making these. Okay, first, you gotta get this stuff to actually code your game. First, go to Google, type in XAMPP. Click this one. And then on download, you click that right there, and then it'll download it. I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to use it. You can use this other one called WAMP, but with it, I don't really like it because you won't be able to send mail. Like, to register users and stuff, you won't be able to send them mail. So I just use XM because it has a built-in mail function that we'll be using a lot in this tutorial series. The next thing you need is the code editor, which is going to be context. Just click download right there, and then you'll download that. Okay, now you got to run XAMPP. So come over here, double click XAMPP, which I already got running, but well, anyway, I don't know how to exit out of it, but just double click it and it'll come up and everything will be running. And then you need to go to localhost/phpMyAdmin. This is where we're going to store all the different databases and stuff for our game. So first I'm going to make a new database, and let's put, I already made a database, but I haven't put nothing in it, and I called it test. So that's what we're going to do. So just go to create new database, call it test, and then create new table. We're going to call it players. And data, and this is how it stores different data. The databases store all the different files for your game. The tables store the different fields, like it stores the character's name, the character's ID, how much attack they have, how much hit points they have, how much mana points they have. It stores all that. Their email address, their password, everything. So, first on players, we're going to need the ID, which is going to be a varchar, and we're going to put an auto increment. We don't put no length. What an auto increment does is once somebody creates a player, it'll put their ID as 1, and then the next person to create one will put it as 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and so on. And now we need the character's name. We could put first name, last name and stuff, but we're not going to do any of that right now. So for name, let's put varchar of 21, and we need to add one more field for email. So we do, or add one column, click go. Okay, then we put an email. Oh, and we need the password. And some people have really long emails, so let's just put 50. And then we need to add one last column and put password. And the length is how many characters the email can have and how many characters the name can have. And let's do password of varchar 21. Oh, ID, I forgot. ID, we need to put a medium integer. What a medium integer means, and let's put 6. You can put nothing right here, but I'm just going to put 6, because that means we can have 9,999,999 players in the game. So, and I doubt your game will be that much, but if you want to have a really big one, just raise that up to like 10 or 11 or something, or you can just leave it blank. But I'm just going to put 6. So save. Table test players has been created. And if we look over here, we have players, and we don't have nothing yet. So, now let's go to my computer, go to local disk, whatever your local disk is under, your main disk drive, -C, go to XAMPP, go over here to htdocs, and then this is where we put the folder at. So we go to new, and let's call it test. We open it up. This folder is empty. So now we can actually get into the creating game. So you double click your context. You go over here to file, new, and then go to file, save as. And let's save it as, need to go to my test. Let's save it as register.php. Okay. Now, this is where we're going to store the register, so people can go in and register. Well, that right there means that we're telling the computer that we want to do PHP. And we're going to be using PHP a lot, but we'll get into some HTML stuff and some other cool stuff. Okay. Oh. First, before we create the register, we gotta create our connect file. So make a new one, call it connect.php, and this is how somebody's going to get into the database. So, hold on a second. I'm just going to copy all this, because we don't really use this very much, but this is telling the computer what database we want to use. So first we open up PHP, we do the variable, which is shift and 4, db means the database, equals mysql underscore connect, and then we want to tell them who we want to connect to, which we want to connect to the local host, and then yours will be the exact same, and then this is our username and password. So we put our username for root, and by default XAMPP doesn't have a password, but you can go in there and set a password if you want, but it doesn't add any security or anything. But if you just want to have a password, you can. But if you don't, then just put those two, meaning no password. Or die could not connect to database. That means if it cannot connect to our localhost database, then we wanted to tell us it could not connect to DB. And then you put if, parentheses, the exclamation mark, the variable DB, close parentheses. That means if the database is not selected, that means if let's say we try to do all this before we even install XAMPP. That means we don't have a database. We don't have a localhost database. So it's just going to die and say no DB, meaning we don't have a database. Now, if, parentheses, exclamation mark, MySQL select database test DB. That means it's looking for a localhost database, and it's looking for a database called test in our localhost server. But if it cannot find, like, let's say we do all this before we even create a test database. That means we don't have no database called test. Like, let me show you. Let me put hey. So that means we need to select the database hey. Now if we go to localhost/test, because test is our folder name, and our file name is connect.php. See, no database selected. But if we go over here and do test, then refresh, see, nothing there. And we can make an echo statement. Echo database selected. That means if all of this comes back correct and there's no errors at all, and then we wanted to echo out and say database selected. So now if we save it, refresh, database selected. And now if we try to do hey again, no database selected. So see, and I need to get rid of this echo database selected. Refresh one more time, nothing's there. So we know that it's connected to our database fine and there's no errors. Now in the next part, we're going to get into the register. So see y'all in the next part.